What is up, guys? Today I'm here to talk about a recent topic that's kind of been in the news, and that is The Rock and his new upcoming movie, The Smashing Machine. If you're not aware, The Rock will be starring in this movie, The Smashing Machine, about a real UFC fighter. I believe his name is Mark Kerr, and this is like early to mid 2000s that the story takes place. So, and it's based on this real guy. And basically, sorry, just dropped my phone. It's the beginning days of the UFC and this guy's journey in it. And I just wanted to take it as an opportunity to talk about The Rock and the current point he's at in his career, where he just recently had a quote that is gonna, I don't know the full context of it, but taken out of context, it just kind of sounds douchey from The Rock, and that is that he said something along the lines of, well, I feel like I was living out everybody else's dreams with the direction I was taking my career, and now it's time to ask, what do I want to do? And that's kind of a disingenuous statement, like you chose the movies you wanted to do, and honestly, you spearhead. I mean, he has like a whole production company that he runs and stars in like all the films for. So I mean, I think it's a little disingenuous to say that like this is everybody else's dream that you just happen to be a part of. You clearly wanted this yourself, and put things in place to get you there. But I will say, I do think it could be a turning point because this is a more serious movie, which obviously he doesn't have too many of. He's got a couple more serious films, but at least for what he's lately known for in the modern era of rock movies, that's not what he is known for, is serious roles. And I do wonder if he will be able to make the turn into a serious actor. And I think it'll probably depend on the reception of this movie specifically, whether or not he pursues more roles like this. But let's just say it comes out and it's well received, and everything looks like it's a go for him to take more roles like this. I do wonder if there will be more appetite from the audience for him in these serious roles. I feel like there is quite a bit of rock fatigue, and for good reason. It's basically just been revealed over the years how carefully he crafts his image and what he wants his perception to be. And I think whenever you tell people, or not tell people, but when people are now in the know of you're like, I want to be perceived this way, it's automatically disingenuous. And now you're like, okay, well, he's not that then. He just wants to be perceived as such. And I guess that'd be like the action star that everybody loves. I don't know exactly the thing that he was quote unquote trying to be perceived as, but I think you know what I mean. He wanted to be the guy, like the whole I can't lose any fights in any of the roles that I play. Like that kind of stuff will turn general audiences off from you as a person just because it sounds self-centered. I don't know, but I'm sure you guys can fill in what people might feel about that type of phrasing coming from someone's mouth. It's just not a good look overall, and will probably have the opposite reaction once people hear that. But this is a very, very different role for him, obviously, or at least in recent times. So, I mean, I am very curious just to see if his acting chops are up for the task. Because even of his more serious roles, like the bodybuilding movie with Mark Wahlberg, can't remember that off the top of my head, and some of the other ones earlier in his career, I wonder if this one is going to stand out as his best actual performance, or if it's just kind of going to fall on deaf ears and, he'll revert back to the usual movies he was known for. But this is going to be a very pivotal role for him in the direction he takes his career after. So I'm interested to see. I also just interested in that movie. Sounds like a cool movie. I'm, a relative fan of UFC, casual for sure. But it seems like a pretty cool premise for a movie. So I'm interested to see what they do with it and whether or not he's able to, step up to it now that, it's like, all right, it's your do or die moment. You're either gonna like really step into serious acting and serious roles, or this is gonna be your sign to just kind of stick to your rock movies. But let me know what you guys think. Do you think he's like kind of beyond saving from the public eye as far as opinions of him, or do you think this movie role could really turn it around for the public perception? Thanks for listening if you did this whole time, and like, subscribe, all that good shit, and have a good one.